Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Prime, presented by Prime Sports World. I am your host, Israel Rivera. There goes my main man, Christian Simpson, from the Daily Blitz.blog. And this is the Week 12 preview Monday night football recap edition.
I think I lost him.
There he is. And in case you missed us, you can catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard, ladies and gentlemen. Christian, what is going on with you, my man? You called the game yesterday. How do you feel?
I did, man. It was a great time. I want to thank you to listen, gave some words of encouragement. Man, it was a fun game to call. I had a great time watching it, and I'm sure I hope everybody else had a good time listening. Once again, man, I'm back, so I hope you didn't miss me too much. We've been putting a lot of content out there, Izzy. I'm with you on Fridays. Now I'm with you here tonight. We're doing the Prime, the NFL edition. I know college football showdown one on Friday, but before we even get into anything football, happy Thanksgiving, my brother.
Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I'm pretty sure me and Dave will do this, but Christian, let me ask you before we move on with the show, what will you be most thankful for?
Let me hear it.
No, what would you be most thankful for? What would you be most thankful for?
Man, I'm thankful for my family. The ones, outside of my parents, my mom and my sister, like they've been nothing but so supportive of me. Don't really understand football, but they see my passion that this game brings me. And even the people that I've contributed for on the radio in the past, and the people I'm currently contributing for, I wouldn't be here right now if it were for you. And remember how you and I started, Izzy? You and I, we bumped heads a little bit, but man.
Oh yeah, we definitely did bump heads, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
that was,
we definitely did.
We bumped heads on a random note, on a random Floyd Mayweather post, on a random Floyd Mayweather post, and it got a little ugly. I had my guys and we had Christian guys, and we was going to war, boy.
Yeah,
we was going to war. Yeah, and you know what? We came out through the end all good.
Yeah, man. Look. You. It's not friends with us, man. You are my brother, man. I can't thank you enough for everything you do for me, and me being able to come on and contribute for you, man. This is a dream come true. It's like that saying really is true. When you're having fun, it's not work.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm gonna say this, man. I'm thankful for all my friends and family.
Absolutely.
Christian, you can hear me. I think my signal was going in and out on Prime Sports World today, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me. But yeah, I'm thankful for my family, my immediate family. My young son who's growing into a young man.
Nephew.
he can't hear you. He can't hear you in another room. But yeah, man,
Right.
and I'm thankful for everybody that watches. I'm thankful for good people in my life. And everybody that watches Prime Sports World. We got a few people watching right now. I'm thankful for them as well. So continue to watch us on this great content. Hey, and you know who else I'm thankful? I'm thankful for the Green Bay Packers, baby, for getting a W last week. So finally making me happy. My team making
There
me
you
happy,
go.
but there's a lot to be thankful for, a lot of joy and love around the world
Absolutely.
that we really need to spread instead of hatred and disdain for each other, as I see
Absolutely.
sometimes out here. So
Absolutely.
hopefully everybody has a great holiday. And I'm pretty sure me and David will touch on it tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. But we'll hold down the
Absolutely.
fort. We'll hold down the fort for David and TJ tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know where TJ was yesterday. I thought TJ was going to join me yesterday, but I guess he was stuck in his slumber like Snow White over there. Couldn't join me. I'm gonna pick a bone with him. I had to do the whole show by myself, Jack.
Look,
It was
man,
all
look,
good. It was all good.
But I called this game last night, and yeah, man, yeah. All right, let's talk about it. Monday Night Football.
Let's talk about it, man. Monday Night Football. Let's go. This is a really competitive game, man. Jalen Hurts, 14 to 22, 150 yards, no touchdowns, one interception. He had two rushing touchdowns on the ground. Everything was scored on the ground for the Philadelphia Eagles. DeAndre Swift was the leading rusher, 12 carries, 76 yards, one touchdown. He was really gashing the Kansas City Chiefs. They were really moving that defensive line that has been pretty stout this year. Leading receiver was Devontae Smith, 6 catches, 99 yards. As A.J. Brown really couldn't do it, was held in the check for only 1 catch, 8 yards on the day. And then on the other side, Patrick Mahomes, 24-43, 177 yards. Pretty much a volume-esque kind of day. He didn't have a really good day at the office throwing that football. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Isaiah Pacheco was a leading rusher, 19 carries, 89 yards on the day, no touchdowns. Justin Watson and Travis Kelce both caught receiving touchdowns on the day. But everybody here today is talking about the drop that Marquez Valdes-Scantling had at the end of the game. Never easy to catch a football at the professional level, but I expect a pro receiver to catch the open ones. Christian.
Yeah, you definitely do, man. I froze when I saw him drop that because that ball bounced literally off the palm of his hands and onto the ground, and it's like, it's that lightning bottle. What if, and let's say he did catch that ball, you're in the league, and you got to make catches like that regardless. Overall, man, this is a great to call it. Once again, thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened to me call this game. There were 2 things I was looking for coming into this game. The first was, how are the Chiefs going to be against A.J. Brown? Because he's been a man amongst boys this year on the football field. And then the other thing was, could the Eagles get home to Patrick Mahomes? Because that was the main issue. And so last year led the league in sacks with 70 as a football team as a whole. And Kansas City just neutralized that entire pass rush in the Super Bowl. It's so rare when you get the leaders of the conference meeting in a big game like this, and on Monday night at that. Great game, and there's a strong possibility we could see these 2 in Vegas again.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very strong possibility. And I said this yesterday during in our chat to TJ. I said turnovers in the red zone are killers, right? They're killers. You go in the red zone, you don't get any points. They're killers. Well, Kansas City Chiefs lost by 4 points. Well, they're in the red zone twice and they turn the ball over. Once an interception and one a fumble by Travis Kelce. And you're talking about 2 turnovers by 2 of their best offensive players. So those are killers. I don't know whether that's a consummate on the Philadelphia defense. I mean, the peanut punch, shout out to Peanut Tillman for his iconic. I mean, he should be in the Hall of Fame just alone off of the peanut punch because everybody does it, and that's how Travis Kelce was turned over, and then Pat Mahomes just threw an interception, throwing it to Justin Watson. So I say this: the Chiefs don't turn the ball over. They have the lead there at the end, possibly. I mean, that's 6 points there, and so now Philly has to get a stop at the end of the game just to get the ball back to win it by a field goal, right? That's what we're looking at when we look at it, right? So and they did get the stop, right? They did get a stop at the end there, right? So Philly would have had the ball last. But still, in the end, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, they could have won this game, right? They don't turn the ball over. They have a little bit of a lead. All they need is a couple first downs to start the clock away. And, that's all she wrote. You can't turn the ball over in the red zone, and you cannot come out of the red zone without any points, whether it's 3 or it's 7 or 6. Or 8.
Exactly.
Whatever.
And couldn't agree with you anymore. Yeah, the Chiefs just shot themselves in the foot. And this was a game the Eagles had circled on their calendar when the schedules dropped. Great game, lived up to the billing. I want to see how Kansas City responds back, because that's the one thing I always look for when football teams lose the tough games. How do they respond after an L? You know what? They find ways to win. Regardless, I know they haven't looked the best at times, but I will say this. I don't know about you, Izzy, but this is the best defense I've seen the Eagles play all year long. They contained Mahomes, and they doubled Travis Kelce. Anybody but number 87 was beating them last night.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that just puts a ribbon on week number 11. See how those two teams respond after that tough game on Monday Night Football. And now we're on to our game balls of the week, as this is a tradition at Prime Sports World, where we give the game ball of the week to the best player or best performance or best team with the best performance of the week. Christian, I'll start with you first. Who are you giving your game ball to for week 11?
I'm giving my game ball to Trevor Lawrence for 262 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and then he ran for 2 more touchdowns. So he accounted for 4 touchdowns on the day in a huge bounce back win over the Tennessee Titans on Sunday.
Yeah, I have a few guys to give a game ball to. So that's that. But I think I'm gonna give my game ball to Russell Wilson.
Izzy. You know how to say his name.
Oh, his name is Russell. Last name Wilson. Yes. I got to give my game ball to Russell Wilson, man. I mean, this team started out 1-5. He's going against probably arguably the hottest team in the NFL. And he said, Hey, you ever watch Lou Young? No. when he's doing his impression of Magic Johnson, no, you get him back. You get him back now. You get him back, Carl. You get him back, Russell. Russell Wilson has come back and won 4 straight games in a row, including this one. He said, "Nah, you guys are the hottest team in the NFL." No, I don't think so. We're the hottest team in the NFL. He has played sensational in this 4, not even even in some of the losses that they had in the first 5 games, he's played sensational. He has literally turned it around under Sean Payton. And for what it's worth, I know they were going through it early in the season, but I hope people are looking at this and they are saying, hey, Russell Wilson might be back. This is why they pay Russell Wilson the money. He sat in there and he threw a dart to Cortland Sutton under pressure with a minute left on a game-sealing drive to beat the Minnesota Vikings at home. He threw it to only where Cortland Sutton could catch it. 27-35, 259 yards. That may not pop out to you guys, and 1 touchdown. But Russell Wilson has to give my game ball of the week. He has just been absolutely sensational. This little moment that he's had, the last 6 or 7 games, most of the season, since the beginning of the season. So Russell Wilson, you get my game ball of the week. And if I had to get another game ball of the week to somebody, I definitely give it to Brock Purdy. He was just sensational, flat out perfect against the Buccaneers. And another game ball I'd give it out to is Jalen. I'll give my game balls out on behalf of TJ and David. I'll give my game ball out to Jalen Ramsey for getting 2 interceptions. That man is back, and he's making plays all over the field, and he's a game changer. And yes, those are the 3 guys I'll give my game balls out to. So absolutely sensational.
I like
the ribbon. Yeah, that puts a ribbon on week 11 here, Christian. Anyways, moving forward to week number 12. As we all know, the tradition in the NFL, it is on Turkey Day. We have 3 football games. Turkey Bowl. I hope everybody does play Turkey Bowl. Now everybody plays flag football. I remember growing up, and we used to play tackle football. Everybody plays flag football now, even in the NFL. And and then we got some Black Friday football, going on. But I'll start with the first game on the slate. We got my Green Bay Packers going up against the Detroit Lions. And this is a tradition of all traditions, especially on Thanksgiving. We always see the Detroit Lions playing on Thanksgiving. And this time it's the Detroit Lions that are actually pretty damn good. 8-2, second best team in the NFC, second best team, I believe, in the second or third best team, I believe, in the NFL. I think they're the third best team in the NFL because the Ravens hold a tiebreaker over them. But the last time these 2 teams met was week 4 in Lambeau, where the Lions put a hurting on them, 34-20. I believe that game was that Thursday night? That might have been Thursday night football.
Yeah, that was Thursday
night football. So they meet another Thursday. This time it's on Thanksgiving Day. The Packers coming off a win against the Chargers, 23-20, and the Lions coming off a comeback win against the Chicago Bears. Christian, how do you see this one playing out in Ford Field?
Look, the Lions, they showed some mental toughness the other day. Being down 12 points, Jared Goff throwing 3 interceptions, and they still found a way to win. They're 8-2. This is their best start since 1962. At that, they've been absolutely remarkable. And Green Bay, they had to grind that game out the other day against the Los Angeles Chargers. Jordan Love made some tough passes. Made some things happen with his feet, but give a lot of credit to that Packers defense for delivering in the fourth quarter when it mattered most. I can see this one coming down to a field goal. The Lions always play the Packers tough in Detroit, and they always play them tough on Thanksgiving. I think the Lions win this one.
You know what? I'm going to say this. Looking at Jordan Love's stats, I know they haven't equated to winning. And I could say this. They've lost a lot of close games, and that's what we say about young teams, right? This is the youngest team in the NFL. They need to learn how to win football games. There's games that they did not know how to win when it came down to when it was close. There's at least 4 games this season that I think I called that they should have won the Green Bay Packers. With that being said, last week they showed me something, right? They showed me that they can face a all-pro quarterback in Justin Herbert. They had a team that needed a W too. The Chargers needed a W. They're a little banged up in the wide receiver room, but they needed a W. And this team was going against a guy in Austin Eckler. They were going against Justin Herbert. They were going against Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and company. And they still pulled it out at home and won a tough game. I wonder how they respond against this team this week. Jordan Love, 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I mean, he's not far off from what Jared Goff has. And Jared Goff has way more weapons, certified weapons than Jordan Love. I mean, if Jordan Love had an Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think his season would be a little different. I mean, he has similar stats to Jalen Hurts. I mean, the list goes on. He has better stats than Kenny Pickett. The list goes on and on and on for Jordan Love. So there should be no talk about the Packers moving on from Jordan Love after this season. And I hope they don't. With that being said, the Detroit Lions should win this on paper, but I do think with that win last week, I think the Green Bay Packers have a little bit of momentum this week going into Detroit. I think they got some get back in them, and I'm not saying this because I'm a fan. I like what I saw out of defense last week. They held their own last week. Now it's up to the offense to hold their own. I like what I saw how they were using Jaden Reed. We had a Christian Watson signing with a touchdown. I don't know what the hell's going on with Aaron Jones. I think he's a little banged up. If I'm not mistaken. I mean, he just hasn't been used. AJ Dillon's been more of a reliable running back, which I don't think I would have said in a million years. So yeah, give me the Green Bay Packers to win this game close, but it's gonna be close, Christian, on Thanksgiving. And I think that my man, not my homeboy, my guy, Jordan Love, is gonna be holding that turkey leg at the end of the game. Just the hunch. Just the hunch, my man. Just the hunch. Next game we have on the slate.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, next game we have on the slate. We have the Washington Commanders going into Dallas, Texas to face the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams, with the Cowboys coming off of a W again. Coming off a loss to your New York Giants. Christian, unbelievable.
Yeah.
How New York Giants and Tommy DeVito. This is the first meeting for both teams as they play each other at the end of the season in Week 18. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, Dak Prescott is playing the best football of his career right now. He's taking care of the ball. He's spreading the ball around. He's in control. They're not having him do too little. They're not having him do too much. He's right in between. And that's what you love to see from a quarterback who, gets his fair share of criticism. And when you are playing quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, you're under a microscope. That's hit or miss team. There's some weeks where they look good, then there's just some weeks where they show up. This Dallas defense is just going to be too overpowering for the Commanders. They're going to throw a lot of different looks at Sam Howell. He's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL, unfortunately, for a reason. And I think the Cowboys are going to get after him. Dan Quinn, you remember what I said at the beginning of the year, Izzy? He's arguably the best defensive mind in the National Football League because you don't know who he's going to throw at you. And what's the key when you play where number 11 is? Micah Parsons. Dallas wins this one. Convincing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on everything you said. I think Dallas does win this one convincingly. I do think that the Washington Commanders are in a little bit of a spiral, are going to go on a little bit of a spiral here. I mean, losing to the Seahawks close, not really looking good at all against the New York Giants. And then you have to go into Dallas to play the Cowboys on a short week. That's a recipe for disaster. Then the week after that, they gotta play Miami, which is not a favorable team not a good team in their favor. So this is looking like it's gonna be looking like a rough next 2 or 3 games for the Washington Commanders here. So give me the Dallas Cowboys to win this football game as well for the things that you mentioned. I think that defense is really going to get after Sam Howell in this one. Next game we got on the slate, we got the San Francisco 49ers, and this is the last game on Turkey Day. San Francisco 49ers going into Seattle to play the Seattle Seahawks, who possibly might be without Kenneth Walker and might be without Geno Smith here in this game, as we do not know what their status is at the moment. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But in the San Francisco 49ers, there's a few guys. Hufunga's on IR, but they said he should be returning soon. I think he should be coming back for this game. I'm not sure if that's true or not, or whatever. I don't know when he went on IR. But anyways, how do you see this one playing out? Both teams coming off of victories here. The San Francisco 49ers come off a 27-14 victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Seattle Seahawks coming off of a loss. Actually, I thought they won 17-16 against the Rams. They lost that game where they missed that field goal by Jason Myers. How do you see this one playing out here?
Izzy, I need you. Come on, Izzy.
Here we go.
Izzy,
here we go, baby.
Here we go. It's the first one. 1, 2, 3. Shameless
plug number one, baby.
Look, San Francisco, it seems like that losing streak is kind of in the rearview mirror now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they lost the 3 in a row at the starting 5-0, and they're getting back to the dominant football that they were playing at the beginning of the year. Everyone's healthy, and I think people don't realize just how important Deebo Samuel is to this offense, because if he's not impacting the stat sheet, he's still impacting the game, and he forces defenses to adjust. He is, and they're using him more in that capacity. But I also want to say this, Izzy, the 49ers made a big acquisition a couple of weeks ago in Chase Young. You know what this move reminds me of? When the Rams acquired Von Miller. You just see the impact that Chase is having. The 49ers get home with just 4 guys. They don't blitz. That's when you know a pass rush is good. When you don't have to send extra men to get after the quarterback front with power, push, and most importantly, some penetration. Seattle, that was the game they let slip from their hands. You gotta make those field goals when the opportunity presents itself. I previewed this one on Thursday, about an hour before kickoff, if I'm not turkey hungover, but be on the lookout for it.
Yes, be on the lookout for it. I'll post that link in the blog for the Daily Blitz, in the comment section for the Daily Blitz blog. You guys don't want to miss that hot content that Christian pops out here during the week. Be on the lookout for that San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks preview. With that being said, Christian, I got the San Francisco 49ers winning this game. I don't believe that I'm not sure what the status is on Geno Smith. I think he might be a go. I do own him in fantasy, so he better be a buck. He better be a go because I need him. Right. This is the first. This is the second. Oh no, this is the first meeting of both of these teams. They play each other in 2 more weeks here in a home and home. This one's on the road, like I said, and the next one, the San Francisco 49ers are at home. I just think last week they had 3 sacks by their 3 big guys, right? You had a sack by Eric Armstead, you had a sack by Nick Bosa, and you had a sack by Chase Young, right? And like you said, it's already paying dividends, the acquisition with Chase Young. I think he's already at 2.5 sacks for the year with San Francisco, which is pretty damn good so far. He's getting a lot of one-on-ones. You can't double either or Bosa or him. So they're looking to get a sack per game. And if they start the season probably together and we're healthy, both of you, you're looking at 2 guys that possibly both would have 15 plus sacks on each side, which is scary to think about, right? So give me the San Francisco 49ers here, but it is always tough to play in Seattle, and that defense led by Tariq Woolen and company is very tough. They make things a little hard for Brock Purdy, and they hit hard as well. So
they really do.
They really do hit hard, and they're a real physical team. Next game we have on the slate is Black Friday. After everybody's turkey hungover and done ransacked all the shops, and Izzy can't go get anything because I can't even get a ply of toilet paper because y'all done took everything off the shelves on Black Friday. Yep, exactly. We have the Miami Dolphins going into New York City to face the New York Jets. Miami Dolphins coming off a W against the Las Vegas Raiders 20-13. And the Jets just getting pummeled, losing 3 in a row. Last game they lost was to Buffalo, 32-6. They're in Buffalo. This is the first meeting of both of these teams here as they play each other on week 15 of the NFL season after this week. How do you see this one playing out? Christian?
Miami's just too much. I think the Jets defense is going to do all they can to keep them in this game, but the Jets, they really struggle offensively. You saw it against Buffalo. You saw it against the Raiders. This offense is having a tough time consistently pushing the football up the field. Zach Wilson's been benched, and Tim Boyle is in. And look, you and I had this convo last week on the show. Should Aaron Rodgers come back? No, he shouldn't. Just stay back, stay resting, rehab, make sure your foot is 100% because the Jets aren't going anywhere this year. I like Miami.
Yeah, I like Miami as well, man. Yeah, Tim Boyle is going to be the starter moving forward. And yeah, I think the New York Jets season is pretty much a lost season. It was a lost season from week one as soon as Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles tendon. And you know what? As good as this defense is, they're just out there way too long. The Jets offense does not sustain any drives. The only chance I see the Jets having in this game is if they can establish the run game with Breece Hall early and often against Miami. But that's about it. And if they can control the trenches and stop that running game, we don't know what Devin Achane's status is looking like after he re-injured that knee. He might be a go, but I don't think so with the short week handed. So Raheem Mostert might get a bulk of the carries. They were looking just fine with Mostert and Jeff Wilson and Savion Ahmed. So really, Devin Achane isn't really needed at this moment. I think they should just let him rest a little bit for a couple more weeks. Make sure that knee's fully 100% healthy, so they can go into the playoffs with the healthy running game with all of their cards. And then also, I just think like Tyreek Hill. I mean, he's got over 1,200 yards, leading the league in receiving, 9 touchdowns. And he's got a tough matchup assignment. Sauce Gardner has a tough matchup assignment trying to guard Tyreek Hill, but he has a tough matchup assignment because Sauce Gardner is that man. But I just think that Miami's just too fast, too much, too many weapons. So give me Miami to win that football game as well. Next game we have on the slate, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Cincinnati, Ohio in the AFC North showdown. Both teams coming off losses. Steelers losing to the Cleveland Browns 13-10 last week, and the Bengals losing to the Baltimore Ravens 34-20, and also losing their quarterback Joe Burrow for the rest of the season with the wrist injury. That definitely stings for them. This is the first matchup between both of these teams as they have another one in week 16 of the season. But Christian, how do you see this one playing out for both teams?
Well, the Steelers finally got rid of some trash.
Yeah, Matt Canada.
Got rid of him today. Mm-hmm. Matt Canada is gone now. I think Kenny Pickett is. Remember what I kept saying? Kenny's not the problem. It was Matt Canada who was hindering Kenny Pickett's skill set as a quarterback. I think you can put the ball in his hands, but you still got to be able to run the football. The Bengals, they're in a tough predicament right now because you lose Joe Burrow, and man, that's just tough because when you lose a star of the game, it takes a hit. The league is just always at its best when the well-known players and the superstars are always on the field and they're healthy. I go with the Bengals if Joe Burrow were playing, but I'm going to go with the Steelers. I think this is going to be a low-scoring defensive game. The first team to score 20 points wins this game.
Yes, this is going to be a low-scoring defensive game. I do agree with you on that one. Honestly, for the Cincinnati Bengals to be successful moving forward with Jake Browning, they're going to have to run the football a lot with Joe Mixon, establish the run, establish your physicality in the trenches. And that's just the way the cookie's going to have to crumble here moving forward. If you're going to, have a chance to possibly make the wild card. I don't think they have one. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, continue to play great defense. You still have Kenny Pickett. I don't know how the offense is going to look. Who's going to be the offensive coordinator now for the Pittsburgh Steelers now that Matt Canada?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll elevate, maybe a position coach, or I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything. I could look that up while you're still talking.
Yeah, no, I'm looking it up right now. I don't know who their co-offensive coordinator is going to be here. Um, so yeah, well, I mean, needless to say, we'll look at that. When it comes down to it. But they're splitting offensive coordinator play calling duties. So it looks like it's going
Okay.
to be running back coach Eddie Faulkner and quarterback coach Mike Sullivan. So Eddie Faulkner is going to take over as the OC, and quarterback coach Mike Sullivan is going to handle the play calling duties. I don't know how the hell that's going to work, but good luck with all of that, Pittsburgh. Just good luck with
Yeah.
all of that. It just seems like the offense has been in shambles since they were able to get Matt Canada or promoted Matt Canada. So yeah, interesting stuff. But we all knew that it was coming. But I got the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this football game. I just think that that defense is going to frustrate the living hell out of Jake Browning this week. And it's going to be a close game though, because both defenses has been playing physical, a physical brand of football. So we'll see how it plays out. I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers win a close one. It'll be a physical game in the AFC North. Next game we have on the slate, we have a big one here, pretty much for AFC South supremacy in a rematch here between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Both teams coming off wins. Jaguars coming off a 34-14 win against Tennessee, and the Texans, who are on a 3-game winning streak, won 4 out of 5. Both teams have won 4 out of 5. They beat the Arizona Cardinals 21-16. They last faced each other in week 3, where it wasn't even close, where the Houston Texans went into Jacksonville and just laid a smackdown here on the Jacksonville Jaguars in Duval County, 37-17. Big game for the AFC South here. How do you see this one playing out, Christian?
Izzy, you know what's coming, baby.
I already knew it was coming. I didn't even have to say it, but I knew what was coming here.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
1, 2, 3.
2, 3. Shameless
plug number 2, baby. Let's go.
Listen, look, we were talking about Jacksonville off the microphone, right? And the one thing is how opportunistic their defense is. And what I mean by that is they force turnovers. But what did I also say to you? When a defense is like that and they're not forcing those turnovers, it can kind of hurt them. Sunday was the best game I saw them play all year long on both sides of the ball. Trevor Lawrence, he was in control. You see Calvin Ridley and the presence he makes on this football team, on this offense. They neutralized Derrick Henry defensively. They got after Will Levis. I mean, what more could you ask for? Houston, CJ Stroud finally looked like a rookie on Sunday because he threw those 3 interceptions. Yeah, Houston's defense bailed him out. But let's cool it with the MVP talks for CJ Stroud because he threw a couple of interceptions against the Bengals. He throws 3 against the Cardinals. But this team, they're a tough team. They're taking after him. And I'm going to send you the clip. He gave an interview to Bill Cowher on the NFL Today on CBS. And Coach Cowher asked Coach Ryans, what's the one thing you want your players to really think about you? He's like, look, I just don't want to be a football coach. I want to show you how to be a better man off the football field, whether that's being a good man in your community, being a better father, being a better husband, just being long I'll have you, but I just want to show you how to be a good man at the end of the day off the field, because what you do off the field stands out more than what you do on it. And honestly, Izzy, that's the type of coach I would suit up and run through a brick wall for. I preview this one tomorrow. Be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout for that, ladies and gentlemen. For the Daily Blitz Style vlog, as I have it in the comments for that preview for the Houston Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. With that being said, CJ Stroud coming off a 3 interception game. He had only 1 interception in his first 9 in the first 10 weeks. This is a tough one, Christian.
Yeah, it really is.
This is a pick 'em. I think that Jacksonville is going to want to get their get back. I think Jacksonville has played tremendously. They played tremendously last week and got in their groove after getting drubbed by the San Francisco 49ers the previous week. Man, with that being said, I think the Houston Texans are going to sweep them. I think the Houston Texans are going to sweep them. Yeah, I think we're seeing a new era here in the AFC side. I think we're gonna see these two teams go back and forth for years and years to come when it comes to the AFC South, in my opinion. I think I think that defense the Nico Ryans has done such a great job with that defense, such a great job with that team. And in the last game, I mean, they were able to move the ball with grace against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they were able to minimize Travis Etienne. If you're able to hold Travis Etienne in check, I mean, that's pretty much their offense. Now, I know that Calvin Ridley's there. They have a bevy of guys on the outside that Trevor Lawrence can throw to, but he has to get them going first, right? And it starts with the run game, play action pass. It starts with him getting in a groove. And if you can't do that against Houston, then you're pretty much making Trevor Lawrence have to make decisions against a pretty fast defense, a physical defense, where windows are not open as often as they are used to be against this team. So give me the Houston Texans to sweep the Jacksonville Jaguars this week. Next game we got on the slate, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going into Indianapolis. Indianapolis coming off a bye week here. Before that, they beat the New England Patriots at home 10-6. Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off a loss 27-14 in San Francisco. The last time these two teams played was November 28th of 2021. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they still had Tom Brady then, and they beat the Indianapolis Colts 38-31. I believe Phillip Rivers was playing for the Indianapolis Colts at that time. How do you see this one playing out? Yeah, how do you see this one playing out?
Look, both these offenses are so tough to figure out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, the Buccaneers show flashes with Baker Mayfield, flashes with Gardner Minshew. Wow, this is really a pick'em if you ever saw one. I'm gonna go the Colts, but I won't be surprised if Tampa were able to escape and win this football game, because Tampa has that great defense. They're gonna bottle up. They're gonna bottle up Jonathan Taylor, and they're gonna put this game in the hands of
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna try and make them one-dimensional. You see what I'm saying? So I think, honestly, this game is going to be hard-hitting. It's going to be physical, but it's just so shocking that the Colts released Shaq Leonard. Like, I'm trying to really put two and two together as to what happened, because he's like the focal point of your defense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, after that ankle injury and all the surgeries, I don't think he was ever the same Shaq Leonard. But still, he was still young. He's still formidable. He's still a leader on that defense. I don't understand, but whoever picks up Shaq Leonard is going to get a hell of a veteran on their team. But I hate to see it. He was just the best linebacker in football 2 seasons ago. So, yeah. But with that being said, the Colts defense has been playing pretty well the last couple games, even though, I mean, they played against some terrible offenses. But they played pretty well majority of the season, especially when they had Anthony Richardson at QB. Hey, they're not totally out of the AFC South, picture, right? They're only 2 games back. With the win, they'll probably be, depending on who wins with Houston and Jacksonville. If they win this week, they'll be only 1 game out of first place in that division. With that being said, I like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go in and win this football game. I just think that Yeah, I think that the Tampa Bay defense, especially the run defense, the front seven has been playing pretty damn well. So far since Vita Vea got back. And even though I know that they let San Francisco kind of gash them up a little bit through the air. I do believe a lot of that, just has to be with the soft, the soft quarters defense, the soft cover three that Todd Bowles was playing against San Francisco, because they have so many weapons. And and I just think that a lot of it was just schematic. It was just a bad game for Tampa. And even though it was a bad matchup, they could have still won the game at the end. They had a chance at least. Getting down there in the end zone, getting down there in the red zone a couple times. So, with that being said, give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this football game in Indy and move to 5-6. Next game we have on the slate, another AFC South, not AFC South, NFC South showdown here, or an NFC South showdown. Speaking of the NFC South, got the New Orleans Saints going into Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans Saints coming off of both teams actually coming off of a bye week as they face each other this Sunday. How do you see this one shaking out? I do believe Derek Carr should be back, but he's questionable, but I think he will be back for this game. Last game we saw Jameis Winston throwing darts out there for New Orleans Saints against Minnesota. And then, with the Atlanta Falcons, I do believe that they will start Desmond Ridder this week, as, they tried to start my guy, Taylor, give me a 6-pack of Heineke, but he was just a couple of 6-packs. He was a couple beers short of a 6-pack when they put him in the game this year. So I think they'll roll the dice with Desmond Ridder. How do you see this one playing out for the NFC South, which is pretty much wide open, and it is a 3-team race between New Orleans, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay, all just the game within each other?
I like the Saints in this one. The Falcons' offense can be really sporadic. I like the Saints' defense. They're going to throw so many different looks at Desmond Ridder. And, it's not just Cam Jordan. It's, it's DeMario Davis. It's Tyrann Mathieu. He's still got it. I know he's getting a little older now. Has it. And, I trust the Saints offense a little more than I trust the Falcons offense. That's not really saying much, because the Saints offense has been a little sporadic at times themselves and inconsistent, but when they're locked in, they're pretty good. And I think they're gonna incorporate Taysom Hill into a lot of their plays. He's their Swiss Army knife. He catches balls. He can run. He can run out the back. Quarterback, they'll line him up in the slot. He's just that weapon that every NFL offense wishes they could build.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think Taysom Hill will have his fingerprints all over this football game. But I do believe that the Atlanta Falcons, they at home, they played pretty well. I'll say that. And I will say this, that, Bijan Robinson, Bijan Robinson could give the Saints some issues in this game. Now, this is the first game that they play before they have to play week 18. So it's the first time seeing each other. So yeah, this could be, this is another pick'em game. This is a big game here. The Atlanta Falcons defense has been pretty stout this season, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go with the New Orleans Saints to win this football game. I do believe that the Saints just have enough on offense to make it happen when it comes down to making plays here in the end. So give me the New Orleans Saints here to win this football game. Next game we have on the slate, we have the New England Patriots going in to the New Meadowlands to face the New York Giants, your New York Giants here. New England Patriots coming off of a bye week, and these New York Giants coming off a big win against the Washington Commanders. Tommy DeVito had himself a game. Saquon Barkley actually had himself a game, put the team on his back against the Washington Commanders, and that defense put the team on their back. Would be interesting. I don't know if there's going to be some suspensions with the players that threw punches there in the game against the Commanders. But I can't go say, man, you know what? This New York team, they shock me whenever the game against Buffalo, I didn't think they'd have a chance and they almost won it at the end. The game against Washington, I didn't think they were going to have a chance and they beat the Washington Commanders. They beat them twice. They swept them, Christian. How do you see this one playing out against New England, man?
So knowing how Bill Belichick, what does he like to do best? He likes to take away who you get the football to. They're going to build a game plan where they're going to eliminate Saquon Barkley and they're going to force Tommy DeVito to get the ball to another weapon. Plain and simple. That's just what it is. Man, this just seems like a matchup from the past. We've seen them play in the Super Bowl. They've even played in a couple of memorable regular season games. I think New England went 16-0 against the Giants, and the Giants return the favor when it matters most. In 2011, the Giants beat them. 2015, the Patriots beat them at MetLife to a Steven Gostkowski field goal. I think it was like 59 yards, and he kicked it like it was a layup. I'm going to take the Giants here. I think this is going to be low scoring. It's going to be hard hitting. Both defenses. This is going to be a defense. See a lot of offense, but if I do see some offense, it's going to come from the Giants side because New England, they've just been absolutely abysmal as an offense this year. I'm taking the Giants.
Last time these two teams played in 2019, where the New England Patriots beat the Giants 35-14. Christian, so the Giants looking to get some get back here against the New England Patriots. With that being said, yeah, I do think the Giants are going to win this football game as well. 2 games in a row. Tommy DeVito. I saw some things that he looked comfortable with. Getting outside the pocket, making accurate throws, and he knew, look, I got to get the ball to Saquon Barkley as much as possible. And also, we know this team kind of lacks when it comes to playmakers on the outside at the wide receiver position. Well, he figured out, hey, let me get that ball to Darius Slayton. Okay, let me get that ball to Darius Slayton as well. 246 yards, 3 touchdowns. You don't just wake up out of your sleep as an NFL quarterback and do that, right? He was able to get the ball to Saquon Barkley a couple times. He scored 2 touchdowns through the air, and so did Slayton. Give me the Giants to beat the New England Patriots this week, man. Next game we got on the slate, I got the Carolina Panthers going into Tennessee to face the Tennessee Titans. Both teams coming off losses. Carolina Panthers currently the worst team in the NFL without a first-round draft pick, need I say. And the Tennessee Titans losing to Jacksonville 34-14 last week. And the Carolina Panthers losing to Dallas Cowboys 33-10 this past week. How do you see this one playing out, Christian? I believe this may be the first game that both of these teams. No, this is the second game, I believe, that both of these teams have played. No, this is the first.
Nah. It's in a conference.
Oh no, the different conference. AFC South, different South.
Yeah, the different conference. It's all good.
Different conference.
Nah, man. We've seen a lot of Bryce Young dating back to his college days because we also break down all as well. I also analyze that, man. We've seen a lot of Will Levis. This is almost like SEC Sunday. Of some sorts. I'm gonna take the Titans here because the Panthers just aren't a good football team right now. I think this is a get right game for Will Levis, DeAndre Hopkins, and that grown man, Derrick Henry. I think he's gonna have a big day at the office as well. I like Tennessee.
Yeah, last time these two teams faced each other was 2019, and the Tennessee Titans lost that game 30-20, I believe. Golly, who was the quarterback in that game here? Ryan Tannehill and Kyle Allen. Kyle Allen had himself a game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He ain't no longer playing for them, but it was Christian McCaffrey who had himself a game, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Christian McCaffrey is no longer with the Carolina Panthers. Give me the Tennessee Titans. And yes, that grown man, Derrick Henry, is going to have his footprint all over this game. Give me the Tennessee Titans. I think he has a hell of a game. I think he rushes for over 100 yards, gets back on track, and really asserts his dominance against the Carolina Panthers, who really have not been able to string any type of good consistency within games here this season. Next game we have on the slate, we got the LA Rams going against in the NFC West showdown. The LA Rams going against the Arizona Cardinals. The Rams coming off a win 17-16 against the Seattle Seahawks, and the Cardinals coming off a loss against the Houston Texans 21-16 as Kyler Murray's second game back. I believe this is the second meeting between both these teams as the Rams won the first one 26-9 at home. How do you see this one playing out, Christian?
I'm going to go the Rams. These games are always tough, especially in Arizona. Just think the Rams are slightly the better team than the Cardinals. Like, Kyler has really given the Cardinals a ton of energy. Jobs kept them afloat, but Kyler has really put this team back into its winning ways. We knew it was going to be a struggle for them. I just don't think Arizona, they don't have the secondary to try to contain Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. If Cooper Kupp even plays, even if Stafford plays, that's the question that's up in the air too. I think the Rams do enough to get a win on the road.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the Arizona Cardinals pull this one out against the Los Angeles Rams. I don't know what Cooper Kupp's injuries looking like. His designation is looking like this week on a short week. So yeah, we might see a lot of Puka Nacua and Tutu Atwell again. They did. Royce Williams and Darrell Henderson did have a nice little 1-2 punch here last week. But I like what Arizona has looked like with Kyler Murray back in the fold. That offense has a little bit of swag. They got James Conner back. The only thing is that Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray, that connection hasn't really been forged as of yet this season. So we're still waiting on that. But Trey McBride has been a focal point in their offense, catching the football. For them. Rondale Moore had the big play last week for the Arizona Cardinals. Give me the Arizona Cardinals at home to beat the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, in the 3:00 game here. And then the second game in the 3:00 window, we have the Cleveland Browns facing the Denver Broncos. Last time these two teams played was 2021, October 21st, 2021, where the Denver Broncos lost 17-14. That was when Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback, and Case Keenum was on the other side here. How do you see this one playing out for both teams? Both teams, as a matter of fact, the Broncos coming off of a big-time win with Russell Wilson, against the Minnesota Vikings, and the Browns coming off a big-time win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You can arguably say that both of these teams are two of the hotter teams in the NFL facing each other. Christian, how do you see this one playing out?
Well, I want to give a lot of kudos to Sean Payton because you're 1-5, you give up 70 points in a game, and you're thinking the wheels are just falling off, right? But this team has battled back. They've won 4 in a row. They're doing it because they're allowing Russell, last name Wilson, they're allowing Russell Wilson to be they're allowing last year they were trying to make this guy a pocket quarterback, and that's not him. He wants to extend plays. He wants to make things happen with his feet. And you talk about that pass that he threw to Cortland Sutton at the end of the Minnesota game. I mean, he put that ball only to where Cortland could get it. Cleveland, this is going to be tough because Cleveland brings such a stingy defense to Denver. Man, if this game were in Cleveland, I'd probably lean the Browns, but I'm going with because Denver's just really feeling it right now. That crowd is really going to be into the game. Give me the Broncos at home.
Yeah, give me the Denver Broncos at home as well, man. I'm liking the energy that the Denver Broncos defense has played well in the last 5 games, all the way dating back to playing well against the Kansas City Chiefs 24-9, all the way all the way in the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs 19-8. They played well, right? So give me the Denver Broncos to win this football game at home. I do like what I've been seeing out of Russell Wilson lately, especially after the 1-5 start. So yeah, give me the Denver Broncos to beat the Cleveland Browns. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's had to face 2 back-to-back tough defenses. I think this defense gets to him this week. But man, that Cleveland Browns defense is just elite, and it travels everywhere. Next game we got on the slate, we got the AFC West showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. Both teams coming off losses. The Chiefs coming off a Monday Night Football loss to the Philadelphia Eagles 21-17, and the Raiders coming off a loss to the Miami Dolphins 20-13. This is the first meeting between both of these teams until Week 16, where the Raiders will have to travel to Kansas City. Christian, how do you see this one playing out for this game?
Well, remember what I said at the top of the show. I want to see how Kansas City responds back after this loss, because that was a tough game for them to lose, and I think they get back on track here. The Raiders don't have the defense to keep up with Mahomes and company. And Kansas City, they're going to go back to establishing Isaiah Pacheco. He's the only one that can hold on to the ball. Him and Travis Kelce. Everybody else drops out. Kansas City defense, they're going to get after Aiden O'Connell. They're going to pressure him. But watch out. The key matchup in this game is going to be L'Jarius Sneed against Devontae Adams. Your former guy who used to play for the Packers.
Yes, sir.
L'Jarius can do it on the island. You know what I'm saying? No help over the top, playing a one-on-one, press coverage across the board. I like Kansas City to bounce back here.
I like Kansas City to bounce back as well here against the Raiders. Much as good as Aiden O'Connell has played, that's been nice and all, but I like Kansas City to go to Vegas and really put it on the Raiders. First meeting, honestly, in the last couple of years, back when John Gruden was coaching, the Raiders were playing the Chiefs tough. Max Crosby, is up there for Defensive Player of the Year consideration. Okay, I'll fix that for you. I'm gonna fix that for you. But yeah, I think the Kansas City Chiefs, I do want to see how they come off of this loss against Philadelphia. How do you respond? They're a Super Bowl contending team. I want to see them have a Super Bowl championship response here against the Raiders, and I want to see them win and assert their dominance on both ends of the football. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win this football game. And then we move on to the last game of the 3:00 window on Sunday, as the Buffalo Bills go into Philadelphia, the 9-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams coming off wins. Buffalo Bills beating the New York Jets 32-6, and the Eagles coming off a big win as they avenged their loss in the Super Bowl to the Kansas City Chiefs 21-17. The last time these two teams played was October 27th of 2019, where the Buffalo Bills took a loss to the Philadelphia Eagles 31-13, as Carson Wentz was playing in that game, as it was 17-24, 172 yards. Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders both had a touchdown, and Boston Scott had a touchdown, 3 touchdowns on the ground in that game. I believe Josh Allen, that was when Josh Allen was kind of coming up still, right? Or that might have been his second season here.
No, he Josh Allen. That was his second season.
That was the second season coming up.
Izzy, you already know what's coming, baby.
I already know what's coming. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. Shameless
plug number 3.
Number 3, baby. look, I like what I saw from Buffalo on Sunday. It's not what you respond to; it's how you respond to it. Because the way they lost that game to Denver, like that was just inexcusable, right? Um, they ran the ball. Josh Allen took care of minus that one interception. Josh Allen looked good, and defensively, they did a pretty good job. Now they're gonna have their hands full. I want to see what they do against AJ Brown. I want to see Jalen Hurts. This is why you got a guy like Von Miller. Is for games of this magnitude, can you put pressure on the quarterback? I preview this one on Friday. Be on the lookout for it.
Oh man, this is the fake Super Bowl matchup of the year because I just don't have a lot of hope for the Buffalo Bills. No, for real, man. I just don't have a lot of hope for the Buffalo Bills to make the Super Bowl this season. I've been saying it for the last couple of years. I've been wanting them to make the Super Bowl. I've been wanting them to get over that hump, but I just don't see it this season. Hopefully, in the playoffs they play better, but in this game, yes, I would like to see the Buffalo Bills respond in a way that we would hope that they respond, playing great defense, stifling the run. This is why you got Von Miller to get after Jalen Hurts. That is a hell of an offensive line. And let me tell you, they move bodies in the run game. They run that football. And the physicality, between with AJ Brown, and then the speed and finesse with Devontae Smith. It's a thing to really see. I know that the Buffalo Bills have a couple injuries, like Taylor Rapp had that one scary injury this past week, and hopefully he's doing all right. I know they question Micah Hyde's question. They're going to need everybody to beat the Philadelphia Eagles in this one. But I'm actually going to go with Philly at home. I just think even if Philly they can. This is how I know Philly is a championship team, right? This team can win in a multitude of ways. They can beat you. They can outscore you. They can win a close game, or they can win an ugly game. And they continue to win ugly games on the season, and they continue to
find
win
those ways.
They find ways, and that's what championship teams do the best, is they find ways to win. Give me the Philadelphia Eagles to win this football game. But I think it will be an entertaining game between Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen. Absolutely. Next game we have on the slate is Sunday Night Football as we wind things down for the Week 12. We got the Baltimore Ravens, 8-3, going into LA to face the Chargers. Ravens coming off that win against Cincinnati, beating them 34-20, and the Chargers losing to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, 23-20. Yeah, last time these two teams played was in 2021, October 17th of 2021, and the Baltimore Ravens beat the Chargers 34-6. I believe Justin Herbert, didn't have himself a good game. 22-39, 195 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Lamar Jackson really didn't have himself a good game either. Had two interceptions against that defense. But it was the running game of the Baltimore Ravens. 3 touchdowns on the ground. Latavius Murray, Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman all had touchdowns in that game. How do you see this one playing out this week on Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, I think the running game is going to catapult the Ravens again to another victory. There's no Joey Bosa, which is going to hurt this Chargers defense. I just think the weapons on the outside for the Ravens, they're going to have to come together collectively as a group and replace Mark Andrews, because this offense was built. Number 89, Lamar has so much trust in him. Mark Andrews isn't the quickest guy. Just found ways to pick spots. I like Baltimore here. I think they win this game by at least 10 points.
Yeah, I like Baltimore as well to win this game. If there's anybody that should be fired, it's Brandon Staley as a head coach. I don't condone people getting fired, but I mean, yeah. When Rex Ryan came out 2 days ago? Or was it yesterday? When Rex Ryan came out yesterday and said, "Man, this guy needs to go back. He needs to go back to D3 football where he belongs. Go check out his resume." And then I thought about it. So, let me go check out Brandon Staley's resume. And man, he rose up to them damn ranks pretty damn high and pretty damn fast in the NFL, coming from D3 football, right? Coming from D3 football. So that's that. But I mean, his decision. Look, he's a defensive coach. Okay, and let's just say this: his defense ain't been good. Okay, the defense has not been good, and you're a defensive coach, and your defense hasn't been good. And when you have Joey Bosa and you have Khalil Mack on both ends, I think Joey Bosa is doubtful for this game, so that's big time. I like Kenneth Murray. He's a nice young player for the Chargers, linebacker out of Oklahoma, baby. We saw a lot of him. But with that being said, the Baltimore Ravens are just a better team. This defense has been really great, probably the best defense in the NFL. They are the best defense in the NFL. I think outside the Cleveland, I think they are the best defense in the NFL. I have to stat check that, but it's between them and the Cleveland Browns.
Can't disagree with you.
Yeah, and just the eye test, even I don't care about the numbers, just the eye test. This defense is just scary. They have no flaws on all, from the front line to the back end. This defense just has zero flaws. And for a team that, last 2 years that have been banged up in the secondary, they had some of those flaws in the secondary. Well, this year they don't have any flaws in the secondary or in the front seven. And then offensively, Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards, Keenan Mitchell. We all thought that once the young kid,
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. Yeah, I was going to say the kid out of Ohio State. Once we thought J.K. Dobbins went down, we thought this running game would take a hit, but no, it actually hasn't. Gus Edwards, the Gus bus, has been tremendous this season. He's been a red zone threat, and then they found lightning in the bottle with Keaton Mitchell, rookie out of Eastern Carolina. He's that guy that can take you to the house on any snap of the game. And then I like what I saw out of Odell Beckham. He looked like the old Odell Beckham, had a pep in his step from his New York Giant days, had a pep in his step last week. He looks as healthy as he's ever looked. And the only thing is, I think the Baltimore Ravens will be without Mark Andrews in this game. We'll take a check on that one, but throughout the week. But give me the Baltimore Ravens to beat the Los Angeles Chargers at home. I do agree with you, Christian. I don't know if it would be close, but hopefully, we've seen other things happen on these predictions. Next game and the last game we got on the slate is Monday Night Football between the NFC North opponents, the Chicago Bears, going into Minnesota to face the Vikings. This is, I believe, the second game that they played, as the first matchup was week 6. The Minnesota Vikings went into Soldier Field and beat the Chicago Bears 19-30. I believe that was the game that Justin Fields got hurt and Tyson Bagent had to come in and play. So that's that game. Kirk Cousins is still the quarterback. Joshua Dobbs is now the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. The Chicago Bears coming off a tough loss against Detroit 31-26, where they had it in the bag, and the Minnesota Vikings coming off of a tough loss against the Denver Broncos, where they had it in the bag as well. How do you see this one playing out, Christian, on Monday Night Football?
I like Minnesota in this one. They're just a far better team. They're going to bounce back. That was a tough loss they took on Sunday night in Denver. I want to see what Joshua Dobbs does because, I really like what this kid has done. This kid has persevered, not even being there a full month. And he already has this. They're going to run the football. I think that's going to be key for Minnesota in this one. Run the ball, and that defense they're going to have to play. You're going to see a lot of wide nine from that defense. Danielle Hunter and containing Justin Fields. He's throwing that ball from the pocket. He is not moving that ball on the run with a moving pocket. I like Minnesota.
Man, This is at home. I like Minnesota as well, but I think this is gonna be another close one, man. I like what I've been seeing out of that Bears defense the last couple weeks. I like what I've been seeing out of them. They've been turning that ball over. They've been real physical in the trenches. The secondary has been very opportunistic. And honestly, having Justin Fields back. I mean, I think Justin Fields has realized, hey, look, man, you know what? Hey, if I don't see nothing, I'm taking off. And that's what we saw last week, right? He had over, 100 yards rushing last week. And DJ Moore was very happy to see Justin Fields last week as he had a touchdown and almost 100 yards last week. With that being said, I do like the Minnesota Vikings to win a close one here, but we have seen other things happen, here in the past. But I do think it would be a close one here. In order for the Bears to win this football game, the game plan has to be consistent. I mean, Luke Getsy, if you have a lead, stop, continue to be aggressive, continue to move the chains. Stop trying to, just barely get into the locker room, with the win or just with the lead. Continue to be aggressive. Continue to put the points on the board. Continue to move the ball, because last week coaching definitely beat them against the Detroit Lions. They out-coached themselves, trying to be cute, trying to rely on the defense, and it hurt them, in the last, in the fourth quarter against the Detroit Lions. And the play calling needs to continue to be the same. It needs to continue to you have to continue to be aggressive, Luke Getsy, even if you have a lead for the Chicago Bears. So that's how they win. I think the Chicago Bears are talented, man. I think they're a way better team than 3-8, Christian. So a way better team than 3-8, but they're going to run into a hot team in the Minnesota Vikings, who should have had 6 games in a row, under their belt, winning, with the win. So against Denver, but they lost. So we'll see. And I wonder how the Minnesota Vikings are going to bounce back in a close loss against the Denver Broncos as well at home. So good things to see. Can't wait to watch football here on Thanksgiving as the Prime. This is the end of week 12 here, our preview and our recap. Catch us tomorrow. David will be back as we bring back Fantasy Football Weekly. And then me and Christian will come back here Friday night. I don't know what your availability is, Christian, but I will be in contact with you Friday night.
I'll be there.
He'll be there.
Look, come on, man. Look, listen.
You already know it's the big game, bro. It's the big game, bro.
Listen. Let's do a little teaser of that right now, because I just want to say this. You thought it was tough for Kyle McCord to Notre Dame Stadium in South Bend. This is going to be a hell of a lot tougher what he's going to see on Saturday. I just want to see what this Michigan secondary does against this Ohio State group of receivers, Egbuka, and I'm going to let you say it because you say it better. Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, here we go. Maserati Marv. Maserati Marv, baby. And you know what? We'll break down. There's some games on Friday. While we're doing the show, there's some games that will be going down on Friday. We got the Civil War happening at 7:30 p.m.
Today.
You previewed that today? Oh, catch that. Catch that game. Yeah, catch that game. Yeah. Catch that preview for Christian on the Daily Business Law. But with the Civil War, man, the Oregon State versus Oregon, that is a big game for Oregon. It
really is.
I will be glued to the TV, Christian, for that game. So you guys don't want to miss that content. I can't wait for that game. And right now, Oregon's a 2-touchdown favorite against Oregon State. I mean, I like what I saw a little bit out of Oregon State last week against Washington. I mean, they played good enough to possibly win, but it came down to Michael Penix making some plays last week. But yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's gonna be tough sledding for Kyle McCord. And then the CFP came out. You had Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan, and Washington snuck into the top 4 for the college football playoff, as they should. Washington snuck into the top 4, and you have Florida State on the outside looking in, which I know why that happened. We all know why that happened.
I do too. Yeah,
because Georgia, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because Jordan Travis is out. But you gotta think about it. They played Northern Alabama and they beat Oregon State in Oregon. So you in Corvallis. So you got to give Washington the benefit of the doubt. But I honestly believe that was a move by the committee and by the ranking system to basically because there's no way that we can put Florida State in the CIP without Jordan Travis. Come on now, there's no way. There's no way. So we'll get to that, ladies and gentlemen, on Friday. We'll talk about that on our week 12 takeaways. But as that's been a wrap, man, go ahead, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast here on Prime Sports World and Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. In case you missed it, you catch us on all streaming platforms where podcasts can be heard. That's my main man, Christian Simpson from the Daily Blitz Style blog, and I am your host, Israel Rivera here. I'll be back tomorrow with David for Fantasy Football Weekly. And as I like to say and leave these shows, in case I missed you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man, he just threw it off the backboard for me to say, holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy and sayonara, suckers. We'll see you tomorrow on Prime Sports World. Holla back. And also, on Turkey Day, don't eat too much, ladies and gentlemen. Don't eat too much.
Yeah, don't eat.
But go ahead and eat, though. That's the one day out the year you save some room and you forget those diet plans and you throw all the, you throw all the diet out the window and you go eat some turkey, ladies and gentlemen. So enjoy your time with your family on Thanksgiving here at Prime Sports World. Absolutely. We will see you the rest of the week. Peace out, Christian. Have a good night and sayonara, guys.